You're an FBI agent, and for the past 6 months, a serial killer has been moving through the country like a ghost. 5 victims, 5 crime scenes, not a single fingerprint. No camera footage, no witnesses, nothing you can hold in your hands except the growing weight of failure. Then the 6th scene changes everything. Taped beside the body is a handwritten note, 4 words carved into the investigation like a threat. Stop chasing me. At first, it looks like a message for the Bureau, a taunt, a challenge, but it isn't meant for the FBI, it's meant for you. And in that moment, the case stops being professional, it becomes personal. You're the kind of federal homicide agent people talk about in lowered voices, the one who doesn't miss details, doesn't let go, doesn't crack under pressure. Your record is clean, your instincts are trusted, and your name carries a reputation inside the Bureau. Disciplined, relentless, impossible to shake. When other agents hit walls, they hand cases to you because you are the one who stays in the dark long enough to find what everyone else missed. But this case is doing something to you. For weeks now, sleep has become a stranger. When you do drift off, the nightmares come hard and fast. Fragments of blood, narrow hallways, a voice you can't place. You wake with splitting headaches and a pulse already racing. Worse than that are the gaps. Small, disturbing blanks in your memory, lost minutes, conversations you don't fully remember. Places and details that feel familiar before you can explain why. Your colleagues think you're spiraling, getting too deep, too obsessed. Your supervisor tells you to step back, take leave, get your head straight, but you refuse. Because beneath all the evidence, all the horror, this case feels familiar in a way that terrifies you. At first, the victims seem disconnected, different cities, different ages, different lives. No obvious relationship, no shared workplaces, no family ties, no digital trail linking one to the next. On paper, it looks like chaos, but the deeper you dig, the more the pattern begins to sharpen into something deliberate. Every one of them, in one way or another, brushed up against the same shadowy history. A missing witness who vanished before testifying, a sealed case file buried years ago, an old federal operation that officially no longer exists. That's when the truth starts to settle in your stomach. These people were never chosen at random. Someone is hunting down everyone connected to a secret that was supposed to stay buried. Then, at the second crime scene, the case turns colder. The victim's body isn't just staged, it's positioned with precision, angled in a formation you know too well. You've seen it before, not on the street, but in an internal training program, a tactical layout taught behind closed doors to federal personnel. It's not the kind of pattern a civilian could invent by accident. Standing over the body, with that old configuration staring back at you like a signal, one thought becomes impossible to ignore. The killer may not just know the system. He may have come from inside it. Then the lab finds something they were never supposed to find. On a strip of duct tape recovered from the scene, forensic techs pull a partial DNA trace feint. Degraded, almost useless. Almost. It isn't clean enough for a full identification, but it is enough to trigger an internal flag. An abnormal overlap with a restricted database. Not public records, not criminal indexing, internal data. Bureau level. The kind of match that should not exist anywhere near an active serial murder case. For one suspended moment, it feels like the entire investigation is about to crack open. But before you can learn whose DNA it is, the report vanishes. Deleted from the system like it was never there, no archive trail, no authorization note, nothing. And while you're still staring at the blank screen, trying to decide whether you're being obstructed or manipulated, your phone rings. Unknown number. You answer, expecting silence. Instead, you hear breathing. Then a voice low, strained, unmistakable. Your voice, whispering just 4 words that freeze the blood in your veins. You were there. In that instant, the room seems to tilt, and for the first time, a thought enters your mind that you cannot control. What if this case is not only hunting you? What if some part of you has been inside it all along? That night, you stop trusting your instincts and start checking your own life like it belongs to a suspect. You pull the hallway security footage from your apartment building and watch it alone, long after midnight. At 2:13 a.m., there you are, stepping out of your door in yesterday's clothes, moving stiffly, almost mechanically, like a man following instructions he can't hear. Then another night, same time, same blank expression. Each clip shows you leaving. None of them show why. And the worst part is, by morning, you remember absolutely nothing. So you tear through your apartment looking for anything that can explain it. In the back of the closet, you find a pair of shoes caked in dried mud. In the laundry, a shirt sleeve with a faint brown shadow of blood that someone, maybe you already tried to wash out. Then, buried in a drawer where it doesn't belong, a key you've never seen before. No tag, no label, no memory. You force yourself to build rational explanations. Someone could be setting you up. Someone could have broken in, planted evidence, copied your movements, studied your habits. Maybe this is psychological warfare. Maybe you're being framed by someone inside the system. But beneath every explanation, another possibility waits in the dark, growing heavier each time you try not to name it. And deep down, for the first time, you are terrified that the person you're hunting may not be the only monster hiding in this case. You track down a former government psychologist in a town so quiet it feels abandoned by time. She lives alone behind drawn curtains, surrounded by dust, old books, and the kind of silence that makes every word sound dangerous. At first, she refuses to speak. The moment you mention the case, she tries to shut the door. But then she really looks at you, and whatever she sees drains the color from her face. Slowly, against every instinct telling her not to, she lets you in. Her voice is unsteady when she tells you there was a program highly classified buried years ago after a mission went catastrophically wrong. You were part of it, not as an investigator, as a subject. According to her, the project was designed to push agents beyond normal human limits, sharpen reflexes, suppress fear, and restructure the mind's response to violence itself. Turn hesitation into action. Turn trauma into obedience. Then the records were sealed, the names erased, and everyone involved was told to forget it ever existed. You ask what they did to you. She doesn't answer directly. She just stares at you with a mix of pity and terror, grabs her coat, and heads for the door. Before she leaves, she stops long enough to say one final sentence, quiet, cold, and impossible to unhear. They didn't just train you to catch monsters, they trained you to become one. You go in off the books. No request forms, no supervisory approval. No digital trail that can be traced back to you. Using a buried access route that should have been retired years ago, you break into sealed archives and pull fragments of a file someone worked very hard to erase. What you find isn't paperwork, it's video. Old test footage stamped with dead project codes and dates you barely recognize. On the screen, you see yourself strapped to a chair under clinical lights, your eyes fixed forward, your face empty. In one clip, a voice guides you under hypnosis. In another, sound pulses and bursts of light are used to condition your responses. In another, words are repeated again and again until your body begins reacting before your mind can catch up. Fear suppressed, reflex accelerated, conscience bypassed. Not training, programming. Then one phrase keeps surfacing across multiple sessions, a trigger word. Spoken slowly, repeated with deliberate precision. And the second you hear it, your blood runs cold, because it is the exact same word left behind at the first crime scene. That is when the final barrier inside your mind begins to crack. The killer doesn't just know who you are. He knows your buried commands, your fractures, your missing pieces, and for the first time, the truth becomes impossible to avoid. The thing hunting through this case may not be outside you at all. It may be something built into you, waiting for the right word to wake it up. You follow the strange key to the edge of the city, to an abandoned warehouse half swallowed by rust and darkness. The lock clicks open too easily, like it has been waiting for your hand. Inside, the air smells like dust, metal, and something long dead. Then your flashlight finds the walls, victim photos, printed maps, surveillance shots taken from a distance, detailed movement schedules, a table lined with weapons, cleaned and arranged with military precision. None of it looks chaotic, none of it looks improvised. It looks organized, methodical, personal. On a nearby desk, there's an old recorder. You press play. Static crackles for half a second. Then you hear a voice, steady, controlled, emotionless. Your voice, calmly documenting each kill as if delivering an after-action report. You describe where you waited, how you approached, how each target reacted in the final seconds before death. There is no confusion in the recording, no panic, no sign of coercion, only precision, only intent. Then comes the final line, spoken in the same flat, professional tone that turns your blood to ice. Target eliminated. And just like that, every fragile excuse collapses. The missing hours, the blood, the buried conditioning, the message meant only for you. There is no more room for doubt, denial, or hope. You are not chasing the serial killer. You are the serial killer. But the horror doesn't end with recognition, because once the shock settles, another truth begins to surface slower, colder, and somehow even worse. You go back through the files, the recordings, the names, and this time you see the pattern clearly. The people you killed were not random civilians caught in some broken cycle of violence. Every one of them was connected to the program. They helped build it, protect it, bury it. Some designed the conditioning, some authorized it. Some cleaned up what was left when it went wrong. And when the operation started bleeding back into the present, they began erasing the evidence, one piece at a time, including you. That is when the full shape of the nightmare finally reveals itself. You were never just the killer in this story. You were the result of it. A weapon engineered in secret, then discarded, hidden and presumed lost beneath sealed files and ruined memories. But you are also something far more dangerous than they expected. You are proof. The final living witness to what they did, what they built, and what they turned loose on the world. So now the truth becomes unbearable in a completely different way. You are the murderer. You are the product, and you are the last surviving piece of a conspiracy that should never have existed. By then, only two paths are left. You can turn yourself in, confess everything, and let the Bureau write the ending for you. But you already know how that story goes. They won't expose the program. They won't dig up the people who designed it. They'll bury the truth beneath psychiatric evaluations, redacted reports, and one convenient headline about a broken federal agent who snapped. The conspiracy will survive. It will simply seal itself shut around your name. So you choose the other path. You follow the last thread into a place built for secrets, a dead facility forgotten by the public, with stale air, concrete walls, and rows of archived records sleeping in the dark. That is where you meet the man who stood at the center of it all. He doesn't look surprised to see you. If anything, he looks proud. Calmly, almost gently. He tells you that you were never a failed experiment. You were the greatest success the program ever produced. The missing memories, the fractured identity, the blank spaces in your mind, they were not side effects, they were safeguards. A protective system designed so you could live among ordinary people, work ordinary cases, and still function until needed. Then he gives you the truth in its cruelest form. You were never hunting the killer, he says. You were hunting the part of yourself we built. And standing there in that dead silence, the question is no longer whether you survive. It is whether there is any version of you left worth saving. You shoot the man who made you, and the sound tears through the room like the end of something that should never have begun. Then you move fast. Every file, every recording, every buried document tied to the program is sent out, dumped beyond the walls that protected it for years, pushed into the world before anyone can lock it away again. Only after the truth is gone from your hands do you make the final call. You contact the FBI, give them your location, and wait. Outside, distant sirens begin to rise through the night. For a moment, everything is still. No lies, no missing pieces, no one left to hunt. Then, deep in the silence of your own mind, you hear a voice you know too well. Soft, calm, intimate, run. And just before the agents arrive, as red and blue light starts to bleed across the walls, the screen cuts to black.